Thank you for joining us for the Barbados Today morning news for Friday, February 9. I am Mary-Claire Williams. Our top story this morning, Opposition Leader Mia Mottley is dismissing Finance Minister Chris Sinckler's questions in Parliament this week about alleged illegal wiretapping. It is alleged to have happened between 2000 and 2009 when the Barbados Labour Party was in office. Without specifically mentioning the bugging allegations, Mottley told a news conference yesterday that Sinckler's comments were nothing short of a red herring to distract Barbadians from the many problems facing the country.
It is difficult to ignore or remain silent on the clearly deliberate attempt by some in our midst to dumb down the reality and the gravity of our economic challenges confronting Barbados. When a Minister of Finance can finally find his tongue and opts to speak to an alleged happening in 2006 over the grim reality painted for Barbados by the Central Bank, the IMF, Moody's, and now the Caribbean Development Bank, then we know that this red herring is not an accident. This is the Democratic Labour Party's election strategy that has been revealed in all its nakedness.
Staff of the Grantley Adams Secondary School will hold a second day of talks with Ministry of Education officials today, following this week's stabbing which left 4 students injured. The school remains closed for the second day to facilitate the meeting. Today's planned visit to the Samuel Jackman Prescott Institute of Technology for 3rd, 4th and 5th formers has also been cancelled. Meanwhile, 1 schoolboy was bailed and 2 others were remanded to the Government Industrial School after appearing in court yesterday in connection with the recent stabbings at Grantley Adams Memorial School. 3 boys were wounded and a girl was struck by a stone during the altercation. The 16-year-old boy was charged with causing a disturbance, while the 14-year-olds were charged with serious bodily harm. The 16-year-old pleaded guilty and was granted $500 bail with 1 surety. He is to reappear in court on April 12, pending a pre-sentencing report. And one of the 14-year-olds pleaded guilty and was remanded to the GIS until April 12, pending sentencing. The other 14-year-old pleaded not guilty and was remanded to the GIS. He is due back in court on February 15. Residents of St. Peter are calling on the Sanitation Service Authority to address the accumulating garbage in their communities. Some say their garbage has not been collected for several weeks. Barbados Today's Anne-Mark Goodrich-Boyce has that story.
This is just one of the many heaps of garbage plastered around the parish of St. Peter. And despite calls by residents for something to be done about the issue, they say they haven't seen a garbage truck for quite some time.
It's bad, it's real bad. You saw all up your road, straight up your road, garbage down to the road. So you want to go up your truck load. And you can't see no truck. The gentleman said he's done buy truck for 2 years or so he's not wanting to come in. You see beer thing truck hauling it, freight truck. Hauling lumber. Or you ain't seen no government truck for a job.
How long has this situation been going on? How long you haven't seen a garbage here?
For a long time now. Mostly we say the private trucks.
About 2-3 weeks now that means a garbage truck. You know, like something you have rats and stuff, like in that area there, so you have rats and stuff. So sometimes it becomes like it usually come on Saturday mornings. But we ain't see it for about 2 weeks now. So I don't know what's going on.
So how does it make you feel though your garbage not being collected in over 2 weeks?
Well, frustrated because you keep packing that garbage, and it look really disgusting in front of the house because we come in, walking, going up the road there, garbage all on side of the road and the dogs and stuff pulling it out, pulling out the garbage. It really is frustrating.
As a result, residents have resorted to placing their garbage into feed bags to keep rodents, stray dogs and cats away. But they're desperately hoping that sanitation authorities will soon remove these unsightly piles littering their tidy communities. When contacted, General Manager of the Sanitation Service Authority, Rosalind Knight, declined to comment on the matter. And more Goodrich Boys, Barbados Today.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Thank you for staying with us. We're back with news from the region. A former CARICOM diplomat has welcomed the Clinton Foundation's offer of assistance to the region in the wake of Hurricanes Irma and Maria. Former President Bill Clinton visited Dominica on Tuesday ahead of the launch of the foundation's new organization, the Action Network on Post-Disaster Recovery. But the former ambassador to Haiti, Earl Huntley, has told St. Lucia's HTS News that Clinton owes the region a debt dating back to the 1990s.
President Clinton was the one who, while in office, took the question of the marketing of bananas in Europe to the WTO on behalf of Chiquita, and which was at the time headed by a friend of President Clinton. And that action at the WTO virtually destroyed the banana industry in Dominica, St. Lucia, and the other Windward Islands. So from that point of view, he owes a debt to Dominica. So his efforts to help are therefore doubly welcome. And I was involved in the negotiations with the Americans at the time. And I remember that we would get one signal from the White House from President Clinton saying, yes, we are going to support you, etc. We are going to basically not press with the WTO. And then the Department of Commerce, which was also headed by a friend of the head of Chiquita, would give us another, would do something else.
On the international scene, Wall Street shares dropped sharply again on Thursday, compounding losses on the Dow Jones Industrial Average and S&P 500. The Dow Jones fell by more than 1,000 points for the second time this week, plunging 4.15%. We get more in this Reuters report.
Another whipsaw day on Wall Street. Stocks tumbled Thursday, with the Dow falling just over 1,000 points, or 4%, coming on the heels of Monday's stunning drop. The scale of the sell-off setting off all kind of alarm bells. The Dow and the S&P 500 are now 10% below their all-time highs set in January, meaning stocks are now in what is technically known as a correction. Rising borrowing costs once again sending a shiver through the markets as investors brace for an end to the world's central bank's ultra-easy money policies put in place after the financial crisis. Despite the evaporation of trillions of dollars in global stock market wealth in just the past week, Reuters investments correspondent David Randall has spoken to financial advisors who say small-time investors aren't hitting the panic button yet.
And finally, a Colombian university is facing a backlash after it advised female students not to wear miniskirts to avoid distracting classmates and teachers. The students branded the advice sexist, and they launched a campaign encouraging everyone to wear short skirts on campus on Thursday. Medellin's Pontifical Bolivarian University had posted the advice on its website, but after an outcry, it said the tips were only meant as general suggestions. That's news this morning. Remember, you can get more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're on Izumi Media in bus terminals and on Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also find us on Mix 96.9 FM. I am Marie Claire Williams. Good morning.